Greetings Gothlings, welcome to gothgirljournals. It's Mina here, and I am so happy that you could join me today. Let's get crafting. Okay, so in my last video I made this little ledger for Creep on June. It is hosted by Tracy Fox. It's a whole collaboration. There's a calendar of different creators that are doing each day. I have linked that below. And I don't know if I said in my last video, the idea to make this ledger so small and the way it was put together, I actually got the idea from Tina Gilbert at Ideas and Embellishments. Please check her channel out. She's lovely. I was actually wondering how I was going to combine the two, because this is a whole lot of pages, and then every day for 30 days I'm going to be, doing the daily makes, which are either envelopes, journal cards, tags, things like that, but quite large. So I didn't want to make a full-size journal for the monsters. So I made a smaller separate ledger, and today we are going to be making the actual journal that the daily makes will go into. So we're preparing that today. So the way that I'm going to do this one is I'm going to make it from an old book. So I'm going to show you how to gut a book and take out the whole text block at once. And then I'm going to be using this cover, which is quite nice. It's quite a solid one. And then I'm also going to be showing you how to make a faux leather cover, because I'm obviously going to be covering this up. Don't know how this faux leather thing is going to work out, but let's see how it goes. All right, what you want to do is here where the spine is. Oh, I'm already tearing this, don't worry, we will reinforce that. So where the spine is, it's not actually connected to the text block. Like there's no glue down that goes along the spine and is connected to the pages. So the only places it is connected is here and here. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to cut that. Now, you do need to be very careful. First of all, because you're using a knife, no children allowed. This is not a knife. The craft knife blade, box cutter, one of those. When you are cutting along here, it's very easy if you press a bit harder to push the knife through, and what will happen is you will actually cut into and through your spine, which is okay if you're just taking this page off. This cover off. But if you want to keep the spine, which in my case I do want to keep the spine, you don't want to weaken it even more by cutting off. Obviously, if you do it by accident, there are ways to put it back on, and we're going to be reinforcing it anyway, but it's just easier if you don't. All right, so I'm going to, it's a bit difficult for me to see and get a good camera angle. Let's just try. So I'm going to go very, very slowly. Please excuse my shaky hands. Okay, so I'm going very slowly. See where we've got so far. You must keep checking. And then we just make tiny cuts, just bit by bit. There's something here. It seems like some sort of glue or something that I'm not getting through. I hope you can see this nicely. So there's almost like a empty section here once you cut through the page. It's almost hollow. That's why it's very easy to just and go all the way through. So, right, let me come down here and do this part. Okay, so this is coming away nicely. So now I'll show you. There's some book binding linen old here. If you have a look, it's like these little sticky outy bits that I've now managed to slice and dice. There we go. Okay, we're getting there. So I'm trying to get, see, I'm holding the spine here. I'm trying to get it as far away from where I'm cutting as humanly possible. Okay, there we go, getting there. Have I messed it up? Nope, have not gone through. Excellent. Keep it going. I'm deliberately keeping my blade quite short, not pushing it out more, because if I do push through, it might save me from, you know, not cutting all the way through the spine and cutting it off. Okay. It can take a little bit of time. I know, we're almost there. Come on. This is the place I got stuck at. There's like a whole blob of glue here that is being very stuck. There we go. Okay. So yay, we did that. Sorry, excuse my blowing. We did that nicely. Success. Yay. All right. Then we do the exact same here. The nice thing about it is, you can see here, this was not me, but the spine is actually just coming off. That's just age, and that is why it obviously needs to be reinforced. But I can almost, if you have a look here, there are a few pages here. All right, this is not, normally we take it off there, but I'm not worried about that. This has opened itself up nicely for me to cut through that like book binding thing that I showed you. Okay, this is relatively trimmed, but I have to say that I am slightly hesitant because, okay, it should be fine. All right, well, let's give it a try. Let's be positive. All right, so now the fabric I'm going to use is, this was a torn pillowcase that I toffee dyed, which is tea and coffee mixed together, and it's ideal for something like this. Let me blunt my scissors really quickly. It's ideal for something like this because fabric holds a bit better than paper or card, and it's more flexible, which you want your spine to be a bit flexible. Now there's this stuff on the end, which I don't love, and it's going to be more difficult to actually glue that. So you just give it a little cut like this, and then you just, makes you feel like Superman. You just kind of rip it. Okay, let's see what we've got here. So I'm going to be sticking this over the spine like this and onto the pages. And I'm actually not sure what kind of glue I'm going to use, which is always a problem. I'm in South Africa, so we don't have access to Fabri-Tac like at all. Even Where's the other one called? Art glitter glue. We don't have that. So there is not any silicone based glue, kind of like what Fabri-Tac is, that I have found. We do have a number of fabric glues that are made for fabric, but it's not the same. They're not clear. They are, I still feel like people are just swindling us, and it's just PVA. So that's pretty much what I use. I just use PVA because that's what's available. So you gotta use what's there, right? Okay, so now I've got this here. Okay, so I'm going to try this all-purpose adhesive. This is that like sort of brownish clear glue that smells really bad. And I'm going to put it on here, sort of here goes nothing. Let's see. So I'm leaving some hanging over, and I'll tell you why now. It's coming through the fabric. Again, if it seeps through the fabric, it's perfectly fine, because we are going to be covering all of this. And you pretty much are not going to see any of this fabric. It is purely there just for reinforcement purposes. Oh, is this getting onto my... No, it's not. For reinforcement purposes. And even here, I know you can kind of see it through, and there's pieces missing here. It's all fine, because we're just going to be covering the outside and the inside pages. So this has actually done a good job. Oh my gosh. I really should open a window. This is not fun. Okay. Now I'm just going to push it like this towards the outside here, so that we can get it to the end. Stay. No. Good. Right. The excess glue is oozing out here. Perfectly fine. Again, like I said, this is all going to be covered. So the glue can ooze all at once. I'm just going to use a wet wipe to get it off of my bone folder. Okay, let's do this side as well. But I have to say, I'm a little bit impressed with this glue. I haven't really used it. I've stayed away from using, I do use like lace and stuff, but it's very much, you know, I use it sparingly, and then I'll use probably just PVA to stick it down inside the journal. So nothing this hectic. Okay, are we happy? Can I close this and pack it away? Yes. Okay, so now ideally, in an ideal world, this needs to dry. This is just plastic from something or other. The reason I want to do that is because I want to put it this way. So this is like a smooth surface, so it's not going to get stuck to that. Okay, I want to put it this way. Now, a little while ago, I made... Sorry, that was unnecessary, that laugh. I made... I attempted to make faux leather. Dun dun dun. Okay, don't judge, don't judge. So this was like brown packing paper, which here, it's very irritating. I didn't realize that it comes perforated. That's why the whole thing is falling apart. I didn't actually cut it. So I scrunched this, then I wet it, and then I went over with walnut stain, distress oxide, like just with the whole ink pad. I went shh, and then I went over it with a little bit of black soot. Now, the reason that this looks yellow, it's actually coming out better on camera, this is actually quite yellow, is because it oxidized, and obviously that's what, you know, from the water, and this is what came out. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to Mod Podge this onto the book, and then I'm going to paint it brown, you know, and use a few little techniques here and there. Don't have purchased a Mod Podge. I've made my own, and I put way too much water. I started with water. Why would you start with water, you ask? I don't know. I just did. It was not the right choice. So this is just normal PVA glue, like school glue, you know, that you would, I don't know how to, oh my gosh. I don't know. I'm trying to let you see like how drippy it is. There we go. So yeah, just normal PVA mixed with a bit of water to make it a bit runnier than usual. I put so much water in that I ended up emptying an entire bottle of glue in here, but it's okay because I'm going to store this in a jar, and it's going to be, you know, for multiple uses. So it's actually not a problem at all. So just so you know what I'm using there, and let me just make this a bit more habitable so you can see what's going on. Made such a mess here. May not be better. Okay. Yeah, so I'm just gonna put this. I don't know if I've put enough there. I just kind of squidged it under and hoped for the best, but it looks like it's kind of sticking down. And wherever you see it sticking up, you stick it down. Like there. Again, remember, just trust the process. All of this is going to be painted and glued over so that there's no bits sticking up. So whatever is currently going on will not be going on for long. That makes sense. Oh, why are you putting more glue on the spatula? It already had too much. Sorry, I know I'm reaching over. Just trying to maneuver this. Ideally, I should just turn the book around. Okay, now I have it all over my hands. Right, yeah, so now you've discovered something else about me. I am messy. And I am a little bit tactile defensive, so this really does bug me that I have glue on my hands. Not that there's anything wrong with having glue on hands, it's just my personal kind of ick. It is unfortunate to have that ick and be a crafter. But we carry on. That's done well enough to be painted. All right, now let's see. Let's assess the damage of my, oh my gosh, my craft mats. That's pretty good. Pretty good. All right, we're back here. Okay, now what we're gonna do is, sorry, I'm just pulling up my sleeves. Things are getting hot in here. I am going to say, I'm going to do it closer to here actually, because this is going to be folded over. Sorry, I can never escape all the pet hair in this house. Okay, so now I'm going to do the foldy fold. I'm just going to go for it. And then let's see how this comes out. Guys, I'm back. I actually just dried it with a hairdryer. I didn't use a heat tool, but look, it looks okay, right? I know what you're thinking, how different the sides look. But look here, for example, you can't even see that it's, well, almost, there's a bit of a line here, but you can't even see that you've, you know, put another piece over. If I'd cut it to go in here, it would have obviously worked a bit better. Okay, now this might be a bit of a mistake because when I did the black soot on here, it was more, it was while it was scrunched. Now it's really flat. And then I had also put water over afterwards. That's why it looks, you know, not like super dark, but I don't know, do they match a bit more now? I feel like not really. Again, this is all going to be just sorted out when, by the time I paint it. But now, slightly more similar. Are we liking it? Are we happy? This is still a bit damp. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is, I'm just gonna grab this thing again, and now I've got two colors of brown. This is just some it's burnt sienna and burnt umber. This is just like some El Cheapo thing from somewhere, I honestly don't know. And then I've got this beautiful brand new very professional paintbrush that has been washed very, very thoroughly and properly since it was last used, as you can see, but it'll do. I almost did the babe quote, but I won't. Okay, so I want to start with the lighter one, the burnt sienna, and I am, see, it's still closed, so you got to do the pokey thing. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to literally use a tiny bit and just kind of bob it around with the paintbrush. I actually like sort of the texture here, that it's not, you know, perfectly. I almost want to just, well, okay, I'm going to need a lot more. Hold on, which is my front? You see, it's very important. Let me put it this way so I know that the front is this side. Yeah, okay. No, I'm gonna need some more. Okay, so we got that, right? Now, I am going to be using a bit of gold as well, just to kind of go around that gold, what is it called? Gilding wax. But I first now want to see, I have an option of 3 spines that I printed because I wasn't sure what color to use. So we got this. Not terrible. We got this one. I think it goes this way. What do we think? Meh. And then we got this one, which I think has the most red in it. So it's kind of a little bit matchy. I don't know if that's gonna like break the illusion. You know what? Let's leave the spines. I have decided. And let's paint. So let's go burn Sierra. Okay. Oh no, this is looking much, but I'm glad I decided on this. Yep, definitely right choice. It's going to look a lot more cohesive. Okay, that's even just enough of that. Let's go on to umber, burnt umber. I'll just kind of put it in some places, and then where I really want it, like where it must look a bit darker, is sort of in those creases, because technically it's not a crease when your book is, you know, closed and on the shelf. That's that part sticks out, so that's the thing that gets like dirty the quickest, and that. So we want to keep it real. Okay. Ta-da! Okay, I am gonna go again and do a bit of drying, and then just use up all this paint, and then I will be back and we can add some gold, sort of make pretty it with my hairdryer. It's so it should be fine now. Now the stuff that I'm going to put on the gilding wax is not, it's not wet. It's not a wet medium, it's wax, and it's designed to actually dry very quickly. Okay, so this you might actually be able to find, because this is Cosmic Shimmer. It's done by Cosmic Shimmer, metallic gilding polish. And this one is tarnished gold. Tarnished gold gilding polish. It comes with this. This is an applicator, I promise. I don't know how to remove it at the moment, but I was gonna say, I don't know if I'm even going to use that. I might just, sorry, I'm reaching again. You get a clean paint brush, and I'm just gonna take a little bit. And I'm going to just, oh gosh, that was way too much. Sorry, I don't know what I'm doing here. Way too much. I'm going to almost dry brush around. This is it. It will look a little bit different once I Mod Podge over it, but this has had so much wetness happen to it, so I'm not going to. I want it to dry fully. What I am going to do is I'm going to do the inside. So I've chosen these papers. They are from the kit. So I'm going to do one this side, one this side. I'm just going to cut the edges off, and then yeah. Let's see which way I want to put this. It doesn't really matter, but there is a bit of writing, so it's slightly directional. So I'm going to, oh, it seems like I have to leave quite a lot of space around, which I was hoping I wouldn't have to do, that this would cover most of it, and then, you know, I could just have like a small border. Am I loving this? Am I in love with this? I don't know if I am. I'm gonna have to do a bit more printing, ladies and gentlemen. I've got some other pages here that I had considered, but I want them to match, obviously. And this is also okay, but I haven't printed 2 copies. So this is going to have to, yeah, I much prefer that where you can't see a lot of the, yeah. Okay, so I'm not going to be able to do that today, which is fine. And I also want to let this dry. This is the front. I also want to let this dry before I do the Mod Podge over, like give it a day to dry. I will come back and show you the finished product of the journal. I might do a little bit more to this. Anyways, I'm going to think on that. Thank you so much for joining me, and I really look forward to starting Creep on Jude. If you guys want to follow along, and if you're enjoying what you're seeing, please do. I would love for you to join me. Hope you guys have a good rest of your day, evening, whenever you are watching this. Okay, farewell.